So I had someone that wanted me to do a walk around video. So I'll do a quick silent walk around, and then I'll walk around and give you the scoop on what all is done to the truck at 293,000, 94,000, something like that. So alright, so that's the exterior. So, what all we've got. First thing you notice is the scoop. The super scoop, so they call it, from Banks. It says the Banks Ram Air cold air intake. And with the super scoop, it really helps bring up cold air straight up into the air box. This truck has brand new AC Delco rubber lines. Every single corner over the rear pumpkin. It also has the Dorman supposedly stainless steel brake lines going throughout the truck. It has Bilstein 5100 shocks. They are very nice. And I updated the jout stops, the rubber, yellow rubber there. Those are the factory style, I believe. Newer sway bar links, semi-newer CV axles. I think I got those from Rock Auto for, they're the semi-premium ones that they offered. And then it has the the Extreme Duty D-Max Store frickin' beefy frickin' tie rods. Just a monster inner outer. And then it has the Moog idler arm and idler support. That's on the right side. It has Timken hubs and bearings and seals front and rear. So I say that if you know how these are put together, then you know that all makes sense. So I just got done fixing a little boo-boo I just did on the truck this past week where I bumped a tree. It's a stupid mistake. It wasn't while I was driving high speed or nothing. I was literally doing like 2-3 miles an hour, and all of a sudden, whoops, oops, the freaking brush guard pushed back into that, and I just got this replaced. It put a little dimple into the hood. Surprisingly, the grill was perfectly fine. It broke the headlight bracket. It also busted the headlight, all the mounting tabs off. But I just got these headlights yesterday, and I did both sides because I had the Euro style headlights in here, and they were like $50, $55 off of eBay, and they were just absolute trash. They had no light pattern that was usable. really. It was a hot spot and it blinded everybody. It was just an absolute mess. Don't buy cheap Euro style headlights. I don't even know if expensive Euro style would work better, but whatever. These are the factory style, and they still kind of suck. The low beams are perfectly fine, but the high beams are literally, the light pattern is level with the low beam. So it literally lights the road up in front of you a little bit better than the low beam. It's just stupid. And this was the TYC, I think, brand. You know, there is even the Kappa certified. You know, if you got in an accident, it's what an auto body shop would use. It's safe to use or whatever. Yeah, that was worthless. They freaking garbage. But I've got another set of headlights coming I'm going to try out, and I'm hoping they're going to work better. And I also have a LED set of lows and highs to use. So, going into that, we also have, you probably can't see it in here. Maybe you can. There you go. The Extreme Duty Death Grip Pitman Arm from D-Max store. I got sick and tired of loose steering on this thing. I was like, I'm done. Just done. So now it's got the Extreme Duty, and I haven't had loose steering. I'd like to do the idler arm setup they've got for the Death Grip or whatever it is, but later date. I mean, that Pitman arm alone was over $200. Holy Hannah. It also has a redhead gearbox. Nice tighter ratio steering. More responsive, tighter turning circle, all that good stuff. It had a tighter steering wheel compared to what was in here. You could see a bunch of leakage. The Hydro Boost and master cylinder were both leaking together. I have since replaced both of them. Both of them with, well, I shouldn't say that. The master cylinder, I believe, is a brand new AC Delco. Don't quote me on that, but it's brand new. It's not reman. The Hydro Boost is from a 2011 Duramax. Apparently, those are better than the previous generations, and apparently, like, one of the only years that'll fit in here. The newer ones, I don't know. Everybody just says get a 2011. Okay, so I did, and it works better. Has the Moog upper and lower control arm bushing ball joint kits. You know, newer control arms with all their ball joint crap. We'll see how long they last. I mean, I had a set of the Moog's ball joints I have on my red truck, my LB7. That one I only got like, I don't know, 50,000 on, and that was already bad, one of them. So could have been a fluke, could have been not. I don't know. You tell me. I'm so done with Moog, though. I mean, the Pitman arm that I had from Moog, garbage. I cannot believe their shit. And it's the problem solver, they say, but no, it just becomes a problem just as fast as the OEM did now. So Moog's stuff's absolute trash. And anyway, these are the Boost Auto Part mirrors. They have the parking and turn signal function here, where parking light is one brightness and turn signal gets brighter, as well as the high output reverse light, turn signal, and heated upper. They also offer a heated lower, which I do not have, was not available at the time. You could see how they're handing, I've had these mirrors for maybe a year and a half. This is the second winter I've had with them. They were doing this in the first winter, all that corrosion. Not as bad, obviously, the first winter, but this winter, oh Lord, it's just horrible. I just put these door handles on a month or so ago. I tried the AMI billet aluminum door handles. I could not get them to seal. They didn't come with a gasket, and they told me, oh, I'll use some gasket sealer. Well, I shouldn't have to. I paid over $400 for billet aluminum door handles. They were rattly, clunky, and they had no seal. And I had to use all the rusty hardware off all the old door handle stuff. They don't give you new hardware to assemble it. It comes in pieces, and you got to put it together. And I mean, only two pieces. It only comes with the handle and the bezel. And you got to use the spring. You got to use the little... Yeah, you got to use everything about it, and it's your old handles, and it's just absolute trash for the amount of money you pay, I guess. Obviously, the quality of the workmanship was good. It was billet aluminum. It was nice, fine finish. I only had them on here for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. While I was waiting for these door handles to come in, and they were already starting to corrode. I was like, that's fantastic. $400 down the drain. Moving on, we got Duraflap mud flaps, nice and sturdy and strong and nice looking. Yeah. So Then we also have OEM replacement leaf springs, and I mean OEM. One came from GM Parts Direct, and the other one I scored off of Facebook Marketplace for $40, including the U-bolts. So frickin' rights for that. So parking brakes have been deleted on this thing. The backing plate started rusting, and it just wasn't even worth the effort, the time. At time I built this truck from the ground up with brake lines and all new. It's got all reman calipers on here. They're all nice, new looking, and nice and new, clean looking. It's got nice, fairly expensive Rebestos brake pads, front and rear. They're kind of combination something or other pad that's like ceramic and semi-metallic and other stuff. I don't know. They stop pretty dang good though. And I'm telling you, with the new Hydro Boost, a master cylinder, brake lines, and calipers, this thing stops like a brand new truck. I mean, the brake pedal's nice and firm and sensitive. It doesn't have very much travel. It's very nice compared to what it used to have. It was getting pretty spongy. I put co-bed rails, the tail lights I just got secondhand off of eBay. It's a whole lot better deal, and they're like new, so can't complain there. Let's see, well, reverse lights won't come out, but the high outputs will. So then we also have a nice Putco beam something or other tailgate bar light thing. Yeah, so I also put a dual plug on here, 7-pin, 4-pin. That was so much handier to have than needing the adapter and stuff while you're on the go. Laredo access cover, soft roll up, so that's nice. Obviously behind the fender flares it's rotten. I don't know how much longer these fender flares will stay on the truck, as long as the adhesive is there, as long as there's something for the adhesive to adhere to. The bed is getting pretty rotten. The frame's not bad. You can see some of the factory paint still on the frame. Not terrible, but not great either, I guess. It's got no problems, we'll put it that way. Just clean it up, and I've got that rust converting stuff. It's like milk you rub on, and it really makes a difference. Then obviously you saw my airlift airbags. These are the lower model. I didn't want to pay a fortune for them. I actually got them open box, so it was an even better deal. See, I like saving some money while upgrading the truck, and it's just an open box. It gives a rat's. But this guy was expensive from the get-go. They're air compressor with the touch button control, wireless. I gotta tie that wire up yet. But anyway, it works great. You set it to a PSI and it pumps up. And you set it back. It's got two presets, whatever preset you want to set it at. And then the minimum, which is 5 PSI. And you hit it 5 PSI and you hear, and this goes back down. It's nice. And you can supposedly control it with the app. I did that once. Not doing it again because this was a warranted pump, or the computer module or something like that. Trying to update the firmware through the app, and it frickin' somehow the computer locked up. They had to send me a new computer. That was wonderful. The very first time ever installing that. So it's got newer rear shackles, and it's got new torsion bar mounting bushings, bracket assemblies, whatever. That's when I did the control arms. That's when I did brake. That's when I did the whole truck. I put the LBZ in this truck. 05 LLY, now an LBZ. With the 6-speed, it's fully converted. Every pin is where it's supposed to be. OBD2 works, all that good stuff. I mean, obviously OBD2 works because I've got my CTS2 hooked up. Diagnostics work too. So I converted this interior over from the dark charcoal color because I like a lighter color, and it is what it is. I like it. I also started doing a wood trim conversion out of, I don't know, a Tahoe. I like the darker wood. I already have an Escalade interior in my other truck, so I figured why not just do a like a Denali wood trim upgrade. I did an Escalade cluster upgrade in here because I thought it looked kind of cool. LEDs, all that good stuff. I actually found a real nice guy here in Minnesota that had the console, the carpet, the this panel, the door panels, front and rear. He had the I said the console. I had to do that. The airbag, the handle. What else did he have? Well, he had the pillars. I mean, he had everything. Now, don't mind my crap in the back seat, because I've always got crap in here. You know, it's all for the love of Pete. Can't keep anything in, of course. But anyway, he had everything other than the seats. He did have front seats, but they were cloth. That's not going to happen. Because I already had full power heated leather. They were just gray. Well, now I've got this two-tone, which the headrest did not come with the seats, in this color and the tilting feature. The airbag is not functional. That's only like a Suburban Yukon type of feature. Not the Silverados, I don't think ever had that. But, I mean, he had the door sill pieces. He had the rear plastic piece that's the same color. This seat came out of a Tahoe, and I converted it over to work in a Silverado because the Tahoe frame does not fit in a Silverado. The Suburban frame will, but not the Tahoe. And I wanted the Tahoe because I couldn't find a Suburban around here that had these bigger size headrests. And again, it had the same color as this, but I had these from when I originally got my 06 Sierra that the engine came out of. That had this color interior in it. But these were nicer door panels with the Bose thingy, and they were a lot better condition. And I had put these headrests on those seats, and those seats that were in that truck were junk. I mean, the truck had 350,000 miles. So anyway, two-tone, I just think it fit. I like the lighter seats. It's kind of a, you know, with these dirty hands, I mean, it instantly gets smudged up. But I've got a very, very good cleaner from Ammo NYC. I've got a video of that. When I got these seats, I cleaned them up. You should check that out. But like I said, the reason why I got the Tahoe seats was for the bigger headrests. And with the bigger headrest and the Tahoe seat base, the headrests are supposed to tilt back when you start tilting this forward. But the Suburban and the Silverado seats do not have a mounting tab for this, which this is what's supposed to tilt the headrest, flip the headrest back when you tilt the seat forward. So it's kind of a two-handed process. All you do is pull like up like that while doing this, pulling on this, and it just pops right. The headrest just popped. No big deal. So obviously the truck's got rust big time. This is the worst side. The other side doesn't look too terrible. The doors are rusting, all that good stuff. I mean, she's my rusty but trusty. I get in it, I go anywhere, anytime. I don't even hesitate, don't think about it. I mean, obviously I do my pre-trip, make sure she's good to go fluid-wise, all that good stuff. But I mean, like, reliability, I'm not worried. Give me a second. With the brush guard, it's a two-handed process. Good. So, I bought this LBZ engine to put in my 06 Sierra with 150,000 miles. I've since gone about 27,000 miles with this engine the way it is pretty much now. I did an EGR delete with a pusher intake Y bridge, and I thought that in the camera it looked like this was popped up out there. I'm like, no wonder. Anyway, so but yeah, this pusher intake, I painted it myself. That's not the way it came. It saved me $75 from having them paint it, and then booger it up and be like, no, I just paid $75 to have that painted. But anyway, Ram Air, and I bought this kit secondhand, pain in the ass. Said it was for an 05 Duramax. I'm like, perfect. It'll work with my S&B mouthpiece that I had for the turbo. Just pop it in and go. But no. Unfortunately, it is for an LMM. And the LMM mouthpiece is different, or the elbow is different. The math is different. So this uses a circle, and the LMM uses a flat. Tried to Dremel it out, completely boogered it up. The bolt holes didn't align, nothing, whatever. It was a mess. So luckily, Banks sells individual pieces. So then I used the LBZ turbo piece, which worked fine. Nothing wrong with it. I just like the SMB. Supposedly, it flows a bit better than the LLY. No, I'm sorry. The LBZ factory mouthpiece, just by a little bit. So they say. Who knows? But then I also had to get a new Super Scoop because it was for an LMM. Like, it's a different body style. It didn't fit right. So I got that. That fits now. I had it zip tied up because it wouldn't made up to the bumper there. It was a big gap. I had to zip tie it to hold it there. I was like, what the hell? But, so those are the only two pieces because apparently this and the base are identical to the LBZ. And apparently this boot and that boot. And so that worked out. But it just sucks I had to buy. I paid like $250 for this intake, which, is beyond half the price of a brand new one from Banks' website. Now, I said Banks' website, go price it. And that's where I'm getting my price from. I know you could probably get a little bit cheaper anywhere else. But anyway. So all that's good to go. Alternator works great. I really want to put the, have someone custom make a heated intake tube here. So that way you utilize the factory intake heater, because that would help the truck warm up so much faster, use less fuel and whatever, just having hot air go into the engine help that warm up a whole lot quicker. That would be so nice. I also did a turbo swap because the turbo bearings were going out, unfortunately, at 150,000. But apparently, if you Google LBZ turbo noise or something along them lines, apparently the LBZ has a lot more turbo failures than the LLY. So that's always wonderful. Everybody praises the LBZ freaking turbo for some reason. But MBRP downpipe, 4-inch muffled. That's a Master Pro, Master something. Flowmaster, there you go. Exhaust, I believe. So, like I said, with a muffler, cat filter, fuel filter. It's got a Banks triple disc torque converter. I decided to go. I've been praising Banks. I mean, they're top notch. They actually do their research. Now, I know people were skeptical. People were, well, what about the LBZ or the torque converter for the triple disc from Banks? And everybody's just like, well, I'll go with Suncoast. They've been doing transmissions longer than Banks has, blah, 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 blah. Well, I have no problems with the Banks torque converter. It locks up. It's a triple disc. It bangs when you engage it, or when it engages, I should say. But it is what it is. I mean, it puts the power down. I could throw 30 PSI in 6th gear, and I know that's not great. Don't tell me. I already know, but I can do it if I want to. And I am not slipping the torque converter like I was. So that's always nice. And when I did this truck, I took everything out of my 06 donor truck, we'll call it now. The full front clip, the whole 9 yards. So it's got the full LBZ cooling stack minus the little fin thing around the frickin' fan. I could give a rat's ass about that. That is actually more of a pain in the ass if you need to change your serpentine belt or need to even to get at the serpentine belt. That's still a pain in the ass on this, but with that thing, it's just a nightmare. I don't know why they need that, why they think they need that. My 06 truck never had that, so I just didn't worry about it. I wasn't going to pay extra money to have it when I don't think I need it, because the LLY and LB7 never had it, so whatever. I mean, the shroud's held on. This isn't factory bolt. Well, actually, it is. Not factory washer, but it's held on up here. That's held on with the darts down at the bottom. I mean, why do I need some fancy, schmancy shroud thingy-mabob around the fan? That's just obnoxious. And obnoxious doesn't even begin to describe it. So I put a new coolant bottle in there so I could actually see. The one that came with my 06 was blacker than black. And like I said, new master cylinder, 2011 Hydro Boost. So, yeah, I also did glow plugs, all brand new AC Delco. I got them from Merchant Auto, and I even got the little glow plug tool from Merchant. As well as a brand new glow plug control module, because I was having glow plug issues, the truck not wanting to start right. Only thing I'm thinking I'm going to have to do next is injectors. I'm thinking they're starting to go bad. But, because I have my injector knock video, if you haven't seen that, go check it out. But anyway, I have to take it to the dealer. I'm going to have them hook it up to your computer and see what the flow rates and return rates and all that stuff are, because I'm thinking I'm going to need injectors. It's either that or head gaskets. I'm not having head gasket symptoms, but I don't know. I don't know what's happening. It just doesn't have the power off the line like an LBZ should have. And it used to have. This thing used to have that torque right off the line, but now you got to drive it. You know, I could drive my dad's truck about 17 to 1900 RPM, and it just gets right up to speed. I mean, we're talking, boom, up to 40 miles an hour with a blink of an eye, just taking off from a stoplight. 17 to 1900. Barely hitting the throttle at that point. This one right now, I'm having to do about 22 to 2400 RPM to accelerate at the same rate my dad's does between that 17 and 19. So I'm having to drive it harder and faster to get it to accelerate at the same rate. It drives me nuts. So I don't know. I put a new turbo vane sensor. I put a new map sensor. Brand new Garrett, I should say, vane sensor. Brand new AC Delco map sensor. I'm doing stuff right. The only thing I'm going to warn you guys, if you ever need to replace your temp sensor, get the OEM. Go to the factory, the dealership, go to Rock Auto, buy the AC Delco original equipment. Do not waste your time with the aftermarket crap from AutoZone, O'Reilly's. I am on my 5th or 6th coolant temp sensor between both my trucks. Now, the reason why we ended up having to use aftermarket sensors is because we pulled the engine, the chain got a little too close, snapped the connector, blah. Great. So, new temp sensor. I'm having to swap these things on the side of the road, mind you. My LB7 does not like when the temp sensor goes bad because it messes with the fuel rates or whatever. And it went from like 180 degrees down to like 20 degrees, and it was just it was knocking, banging. It was, transmission was starting to slip or something because, it alters the way the transmission shifts and all that stuff. And it just, oh man, it was a disaster. I thought the truck was going to blow up. Yeah. So stick with the AC Delco original equipment's temp sensor. Trust me on that. Any sensor on these things, I would recommend OEM. Really, because why mess with the aftermarket crap? That's not going to read as precise as OEM, at least in my experience. That's why I went with Garrett for the turbo. So all the problems I was having, the performance is the only thing I'm having an issue with. I think my mileage has gone up a hair now. I've been using, you might have seen the bottle that fell out. I don't know, maybe it did, but I'll show you. This Max Tane from Royal Purple. I've been using this. One whole bottle in every full tank I fill up. From empty to full, I put one whole can. Half tank, half the bottle. So that seems to be helping my performance. It's a little bit better. Not great, a little bit better. Obviously, if the injectors are gone, they're gone. There's not any reversing that and bringing back my performance. But, balance rates aren't horrible. They're under 3. But I've already done an injector clean once with the newer injector cleaner that GM has. I did a video on that. Check that out. If you're curious, if you're interested, there's a part number, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I've also been using the Arch Oil fuel additive. I also use the Arch Oil additive in both my trucks. So... in the engine oil. I've also used a bit of it in my power steering. Not a whole lot, not enough as they say you should, but for hydraulic fluids and stuff. But anyway, use it in my engine oil. I'm hoping that really helps. I know it'll help stiction on a power stroke. So I'm like, well, what good can it do? What more good can it do in my Duramax? That does, obviously, injectors have nothing to do with the Arch Oil oil additive. But Thinking maybe it'll help the internals over time and stuff like that. Anyway, I also use Royal Purple full synthetic 1540 in both my trucks, regardless of their temperature ratings for the newer engines and stuff like that. 1540 Royal Purple, and I guarantee you could probably eat off the inside of this engine. It's probably that clean. I know when I first put Royal Purple in here, it was like 2 days later, just black as night. Yeah, I really give Royal Purple their credit, Banks their credit. I'm really sticking with the good stuff. It's expensive. It's good, though. I know a lot of people use AMSOIL. That's not bad. I haven't had a bad experience. Dad uses AMSOIL a lot. Like for differential fluid, I'll use their stuff. But for my engine oil, I put it in my LB7, and it does not hold oil pressure over a longer period of time. Like by the time this thing's ready for an oil change, it does not hold the oil pressure as high as the Royal Purple, in my opinion. That's what my oil pressure gauge read. 0% oil life. The oil pressure just wasn't there like it is in this thing when they're due for an oil change in the Royal Purple. So anyway, enough ranting and raving about that. I just got these red top batteries not long ago because the batteries I got in my 06 Sierra that came with it were dead as a doornail. Not a light, not an LED would light up. All I did was put them on the charger, and they came back to life. But this year, they started to give me a little bit more problem. So I was like, yep, screw that. Getting the good stuff. Fires right up now, and it's like it's not even cold out, which is really nice for Minnesota. So I also got a new fan blade. It had a crack in one of the blades. I was like, yeah, I'm waiting for that to fly off and hit my radiator and put me on the side of the road where I don't want to be. I also got a new whir out of an LMM at 150,000, I think, or 100,000 miles on that fan clutch itself. I thought maybe, I don't know when the other one was ever replaced, and I don't know. I think I was having some kind of an issue of sorts, but yeah. I also deleted the quick connect fittings for the heater core. I said screw it, because that's what originally killed the second LLY we had in this thing. The original, and then the one that's sitting in the shed right now. We did head gaskets, head studs, we did EGR delete, downpipe. We did everything to that engine while it was out. And the stupid heater core fitting blew off. And Dad, apparently, he said he couldn't pull over. There was no room to pull over where he was at. And by the time he pulled over, the temp gauge was pegged. Like, fuck. So that probably cracked the block, cracked the head. Who knows? It started using coolant again. He's like, I'm done. The truck's rusting. I'm just done with these reliability problems. He wasn't about to pull. I was living out in Michigan at the time. I came out, I bought the engine, I helped him put it in, we did all the work, all that good stuff, and then I went back to Michigan. He wasn't going to do all the work on his own, because it is a lot of work. Not that he couldn't, but he just wasn't. He didn't have the time, didn't have the money to do head gaskets a second time. So, or heads, whatever's using coolant now. I shouldn't have a head gasket problem. We're hoping the block is good. I was hoping to use that as a project, and so is he at some point for something. I was hoping to do like an H2 Duramax swap. We'll see. Anyway, but and his quick connect fittings are starting to leak on his new LBZ, the one I'm comparing my truck to. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to want to delete them, because last thing you need is overheating your engine again. And I'm like, I ain't dealing with that crap, so I deleted them right away. Engine went in, and those stupid quick connect fittings came off. Not dealing with that. I don't know why they did that. They're not reliable. They're plastic. If they were metal, it's one thing there, but they're plastic. Plastic gets brittle and breaks, and you're going to be up a creek. So, yeah. I was kind of still waiting to have to do the water pump on this thing. I mean, it's approaching 170, 180,000 miles on this engine, and I'm waiting to have to do the water pump, as well as that little bitty hose right above the fan clutch there. I know my LB7 had that problem at like 220,000, so I've never had a water pump leak yet on either of these trucks, but when we did the head gaskets on my LB7, we just did the water pump. So eliminated that, and I'm hoping I won't have to do head gaskets anytime soon on this thing, although having head studs and blowing or beating the living snot out of it, having that comfort of having a bulletproof engine would be nice, other than the pistons, which I don't get that hot anyway, so not too terribly worried about it, and hopefully the bottom end holds together. So, but I'm not beating the living shit out of this thing daily, so I guess I'm not worried about it. It's my daily driver. My rusty but trusty, get in it, go anywhere. But, so anyway, I hope that is a sufficient enough walk-around video for you guys on just about everything that's been done to this thing. A brand new AC Delco starter, not a reman, brand new. That was the second starter I had tried. The second starter I had tried, and you can see it. And I was having starter grind issues, which is a very common problem on the Duramax. I was having that issue. I was like, well, I'll try the starter, and that solved it. I have not had one grind, and it's been over a month now or something like that. I also did manifolds and up pipes. This is the D-Max Store Max Flow. Manifolds and up pipes. And I know you probably can't hardly see them whatsoever, but yeah, they're there. So that sums it up. That really does. So I hope you guys enjoyed. It's not a perfect truck, but it is my daily driver, and I don't have any issues with it. She gets up and goes and tows, and frick, my rusty but trusty. Oh, also has updated cab bushings. The I don't know what year they came off of. They're the hydraulic ones, because this had that jounce, you know, where you go over a bump and it feels like the middle of the truck is kind of fluttering or something like that. You just hear like the back end is chattering, like bad shocks or something. Drives me up a wall. My dad's truck has it so bad right now, but I updated the bushings. 99% gone. So what's frustrating is my extended cab LB7 has the Celastic shackles and updated bushings, and I still have that feeling. That pisses me off. I mean, come on. Those are expensive bushings, but anyway. Solved it on this truck and the other trucks. My play truck, I guess? I don't know. More my summer enjoyable daily driver, so. But this one's the work pig, so. Anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your comments, questions, criticisms, whatever you feel the need to leave down in the comments. And I just hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. God bless.